Many of my Democratic friends thought that Mueller was going to indict the president. And so the Mueller report was kind of like a hair on their biscuit. And now they don't know what to do, so they're attacking Bill Barr. And my feeling about it is it's time to move on.
Hair on a biscuit? Okay. Anyway, Republican Senator John Kennedy ahead of tomorrow's final deadline set by the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler for a response to his request for the full Mueller report and its underlying documents. Nadler plans to initiate contempt proceedings against Attorney General Bill Barr if he does not comply. Let's bring in Democratic strategist Don Calloway, former Nevada State GOP Chairwoman Amy Tarkanian, and former Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell. I don't know, guys, that just hair on a biscuit thing. I was like, what? Anyway.
Sounds disgusting. Yeah.
So beyond that, Dawn, please comment on the senator's remarks there. I mean, is it possible that that's how this battle with Bill Barr looks to people at home? Should Democrats be picking their battles and just stay focused on the president?
First of all, I could listen to John Kennedy all day, and I don't agree with anything he says politically. But he is one of the great characters. He's one of the great characters in Washington, D.C.
Totally.
But, you know, in this very folksy way, he is spinning the new yarn of the Republican talkerati, which is, you didn't indict the president, so now let's attack Barr, as though Democrats consistently need someone to attack. That's not really the case. The reality is that we are criticizing Attorney General Barr's realistic behavior, where from day one, even from the point where he was being confirmed, we saw that he was here to serve this president's needs. He is not here to serve as the people's lawyer, as the American people's lawyer, and as the defender of the Department of Justice. He's here specifically to serve the president. And I think, as we said 3 weeks ago on your program, Alex, Attorney General Barr has put himself in a position where realistically he should be the one impeached right alongside this president.
So, Amy, gauge for me the level of concern by Republicans by the Trump administration's disregard of subpoenas. I mean, there's got to be some that are concerned about this.
Well, sure, there are, but, you know, we have to go back in history. You know, we had somebody who was already held in contempt at one point, and that was former Attorney General Eric Holder, who unfortunately set the unfortunate precedent that if you don't follow through and if you're held in contempt, nothing's going to happen to you, so why bother? It's not, is it the right thing to do? No, but that's where we're at, unfortunately.
So then, Governor, these contempt proceedings against Barr, they could start tomorrow. But where's the progress on all of the kitchen table issues? Can they walk and chew gum at the same time like they've been claiming?
I think they can, but the important thing that we're forgetting here is what's the underlying purpose for subpoenaing Mr. Barr? That is to get the Mueller report out in front of the people. And the American people are overwhelmingly in favor of getting the full Mueller report out into the public.
In addition to unanimously in the House, by the way, too. Every single member of the House said we want the full unredacted report.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, as we look ahead to 2020, Dawn, I want to do that with you. There's this new piece in the New York Times which points out how Joe Biden is taking on Donald Trump while also extending an olive branch to some Republicans. But then some of his fellow opponents are not agreeing with his approach. Do the Democrats, Dawn, want a bipartisan deal maker, or do they want a partisan warrior?
We want a president who's not Donald Trump. So I think that the good thing about 2020, this rigorous, robust primary process, is that you'll see someone, whoever emerges, you will not see the partisanship that we had in 2008, where all the Hillary supporters didn't want to support President Obama, in 2016, where all the Bernie supporters didn't want to support Hillary. We will be behind whoever the nominee is, and I warn my fellow Democrats that we cannot let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Biden appears to be the leader right now. Mayor Pete is having a great run. But whoever it is, there will be somebody that some strong segment of the Democratic Party has a real issue with. But whoever it is will be better than this current guy who's in the White House right now. So Joe Biden has, you know, he's got the spark right now, but he's not going to have the unanimous support of all of the party. It's a broad and diverse tent, but, you know, whoever our nominee is will have a unified support of the party against this current president.
Are you sure about that, Dawn? Because right now there are those who are taking aim at others within the party. I mean, Bernie Sanders in particular to Joe Biden. That's Sanders' style.
it's a rigorous contest. I mean, when you have 20 qualified and capable and competent folks, you know, there are going to be some elbows thrown. But I really think that it's, as Cory Booker calls it all the time, it'll be a healthy sibling rivalry. And people should, this is what we should want. People should have to account for their record. And what I've liked about this process so far, first of all, props to you for having some of the lesser known candidates on every week. That's very important to the process. But what I really appreciate about this process is that it's not about personality, but folks are getting attacked based upon their real substantive records. So I'm excited about it.
What about Amy as Biden and these fellow Democrats? They may disagree on how to take on Trump. The president, for his part, seems to have his attention on Biden. Is this the proof that the vice president is doing something right? Is he the person that you believe Donald Trump fears the most that he comes up against for 2020?
Well, he said it himself. He has said he believes that's either Biden or Bernie that are going to come out on top. And yes, I do. I agree with Don wholeheartedly that if the Democrats are going to have any decent possibility of trying to replace the president with their nominee, they're definitely going to have to come together. Because there will be some soft Republicans and some independents. Now, he says it's not a campaign on personality. I disagree, because I think some of those soft Republicans and independents, as great as his policies have been and as successful as the economy has been, personality-wise, there's still some people who aren't as comfortable with him. So I think that's where they have some wiggle room to play with.
What about you, Governor, with regard to the new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll, which compares the enthusiasm and the reservations voters have about President Trump and Joe Biden? There's a sharp divide, the sharpest one really, between those who say they're very uncomfortable with the candidate, 49% feeling this way about the president, just 24% feeling the same about Joe Biden. Talk about the significance of those numbers.
Well, I think Don is right. The Democrats are going to come out to vote this time, regardless of who the nominee is. If it was me, if it was you, Alex, they're coming out to vote.
No, they're not coming out for me,
they're coming out
anyway.
they're coming out to
Bring
vote
back
against
Governor Rendell.
Donald Trump. Against Donald Trump. And there's no question in my mind about that. And I think Joe Biden has played it perfectly. One, he's taken on Trump. Our Democrats want to see someone who's got the cojones to take on Trump and not be cowed by him. Biden has demonstrated that. And at the same time, he talks about being a deal maker that can get things done. The nation yearns, 70% of the nation yearns for Washington to get things done. So Biden is having it both ways, and I think he's doing a very good job, but it's early.
Okay. Last word to you, Amy. I want to just back up on what you said with regard to these numbers again. 49% feeling this way about the president. They're very uncomfortable with him about the candidate as a candidate versus 24% for Joe Biden. Is this part of what you were referencing before, the personality of this president that works against him?
Absolutely. I mean, there are people who still feel a little bit uncomfortable with the way that he presents himself and the way that he, you know, is so involved on social media and with his choice of words. But it's very hard to find people who dispute the success of his policies. So, you know, it's what are you willing to do? Are you willing to go for somebody who can manipulate you with a smile and not come through in the end with policies? Or are you willing to go with somebody who's a little bit more rough around the edges and actually gets the job done?
I'm telling you something.
And Alex, if I can just interject quickly. In the spirit of bipartisanship, I'm wearing a Trump tie today.
Wow, that's impressive.
China.
Okay.
Made in China.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, man.
Made in China.
Oh, gosh. Don is just saying I'm just shaking my head at all this. Listen, you guys, good to see all three of you. Have a great Sunday. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Meantime,
Thank you.
the president's greatest immigration